This is the 229th episode of Nate Jackson's Criterion Collection Review Series. The episode is Hour Bergman's Scenes from a Marriage. And while you look at the view from outside my window, here are some facts. The television series starred Liv Ullmann as Marianne and Erland Josephson as Johan. The television version was produced in 1973 and has a total running time of 297 minutes. The US theatrical version was produced a year later in 1974 and has a total running time of 169 minutes. Both were produced in color, monaural sound, and are produced in Swedish. You know that woman, but anyway, yeah, hello there, Nate Jackson, Criterion Collection Viewer Guy. Oh, I made it. Holy fuck, holy shit. I mean, god damn. You know, honestly, it wasn't as bad. It honestly was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think part of it was the fact that it was produced as a television series, and it wasn't like seriously a 5-hour movie, you know. That's you know. But yeah, just apart from that, I don't know. It's just like I said. I thought it was actually a little bit more interesting, a little less playish than I thought this was going to be. So yeah, wasn't bad, but I don't know. Actually, no, I kind of enjoyed it. Worth a rewatch, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So I'm gonna give you the basic rundown. So as I mentioned, it's a television series. It ran for 6 episodes. Each episode's about 40 to 50 minutes long. So there's 6 episodes. Disc 1 has the first 3. Disc 2 has the second 3, and then there's some supplements sprinkled. The third disc is the US theatrical version, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And the rest of the film, the discs are sprinkled with supplements. So let me give you the basic plot, the plot of every episode. So it's about this couple who are married. They've been married for 10 years, and it basically shows, I guess, 10 years of how their marriage disintegrated within 10 years of after them being married for 10 years, I guess. So we start off with Marianne and Johan. They're this couple who have 2 kids who are barely mentioned, who were seen only in the opening scenes of episode 1, Innocence and Panic. Bergman called them scenes. Scene 1, Innocence and Panic. And we have Marianne's friend is a interviewer who interviewed them for some paper, I think. Want to know their story and all that, and basically they just give you the basic, like what they do. I forget what Johan does, but Marianne is a psychologist. I seriously forgot what Johan does. But we do see him at work a little later. But anyway, yeah. So they talk, and then later in the episode, we get their friends. What are their friends' names? Peter and Katarina, who come over, and they kind of shoot the shit with Johan and Marianne. And Marianne and Katarina have a little moment where they talk about their marriages, but later on they get together for drinks, and Peter and Katarina begin like getting at each other's throats, just start talking shit about each other and fighting and all that, and they end up leaving, and it kind of freaks them out a little bit. It freaks out Marianne a little, but they kind of brush it off. However, later on that night, Marianne confesses to Peter that she's pregnant, and so he's like, "Well, what are you gonna do about it?" And yeah, so she basically gets an abortion, and he doesn't really care too much about it. I mean, he cares that she got it, but at the same time, he's like, "Well, you got it done, let's move on, And so she kind of cries at the end of the scene, and that's how that scene ends. Scene 2, The Art of Sweeping Things Under the Rug, basically consists of them them getting together. They wake up, and Marianne kind of stands up for herself when her mother wants them to come over, and she tells them, no, we can't do it and all that. So Johann gives Marianne a ride to work, and she really enjoys riding with him. And we get to see them at work together there, at their separate works. Johann discusses some letters that his coworker Eva found, and then at Marianne's work, she speaks with this woman. What was her name? Mrs. Jacoby, who wants a divorce, and her speech kind of resonates with Marianne about her own marriage. So anyway, later on, they meet together at this little restaurant, and Marianne really wants to go on a trip. She shows Johann all these brochures, and he kind of passes them off, and they go upstairs and they talk about sex, and he wants to have, and she wants to like say, you want to have sex with me? He's like, oh, I'm too tired, and so they kind of bit of a wedge there too, and that's basically scene 2. Scene 3, Paula, is when the shit hits the fan. Johann has been away for a while. He comes home to their summer cottage where Marianne and the kids are, and he basically tells her straight out that he's seeing this 23-year-old named Paula, and he's going to move in with her. He's going to live with her, and their marriage is over. And at first, she's very confused. She doesn't really understand why. She's very sad. She's frustrated and all that. But at the same time, she just kind of accepts it at first. And it isn't until the morning after when she finally breaks down as he's going to leave and tries to beg with him and plead with him to stay. Because, she really doesn't want him to go, and she doesn't know what she's going to do without him. And so she kind of doesn't take it too well once he leaves. And she ends up calling a friend for advice, because she wants her friend to speak to Johann. And she finds out through her friends that they knew about Paula long before she did. And she gets upset and pissed off, and so that scene ends with her crying. And now we're halfway through. Scene 4, The Veil of Tears, is a reunion. It starts off with a reunion between Johann and Marianne. He comes over for dinner. She's basically redone the place. She's taken down his photo, hung up new photos, and they talk about old times and get caught up with everything. And Marianne brings out her notebook where she's been writing about all the times that, all the days she's spent without him, and times and moments and stuff like that. And he falls asleep. They had tried to have sex before, but they can't do it. And he kind of complains about Paula a little bit. I guess she's becoming kind of controlling, and they used a really great word, histrionic or something like that, and it was a fantastic word, and they used it in the narration. There's a little recap before every episode, so you know what's going on. And there's also Liv Ullmann's character, Marianne, uses it in the last episode, and I gotta love that word. It was really fantastic. But yeah, so Marianne's moved on, sort of. She has a lover named David, I think. And David calls while they're over, and he's like, and John's like, take the call. And she's like, no. And so, anyway, so basically, and they sleep together in the morning. In the morning he leaves again, and that's basically how that one ends. Now, scene 5, The Illiterates, is basically set in Johann's office, and it revolves around them trying to sign the divorce papers, which is easier said than done. They go into it, kind of like determined to do it, but they end up like talking and getting drunk, and they end up finally having sex on the floor, and afterwards they discuss their faults and all that, and they get really angry with each other, and they end up beating each other and fighting, like physically, violently fighting with each other. And at the end, basically they finally sign the papers in a fit of rage and all that. And the final scene, scene 6, is called In the Middle of the Night in a Dark House Somewhere in the World, which is a perfect Bergman title. This is years later. They have both remarried. And Marianne goes to visit her mother, and she talks about her mother talks about her own marriage, and it gets Marianne to thinking about, Johann. And Johann is at his office, and he talks about this with his coworker. His coworker like really is like thinks that he's sleeping with his secretary when he isn't, and all that. But anyway, or maybe he is. I don't know. I kind of miss it. Some woman named Lena, which I don't like the name Lena for obvious reasons when we get to tiny furniture. So yeah. So anyway, so they have a chance rendezvous, Johann and Marianne, and they decide to get together and go up to their friend's house where they can hang out and talk and sort of make love, because they missed each other and they still love each other. And but they find it awkward, so they go off to another house, and they end up spending the night together and talking throughout the night, and it's kind of a reunion. And in the end, Marianne wakes up from this nightmare, and Johann's there to comfort her, and it's kind of and they just talk about how love is just different for everyone. Everyone loves differently, and they just have a different kind of love, I guess. And that's all I can say about this one. It's actually a relatively interesting story. Liv Ullmann has never looked prettier, and that's the truth. And I don't know if that's just because of the makeup or just the lighting or just the character she had to play, but yeah, like she's very attractive, but like in Cries and Whispers and Autumn Sonata, she just, I don't know. There's just something about her that never. I guess Bergman, she wasn't directed to show any kind of sexual. She wasn't a sexual character in those. But in this movie, she does possess a very sexual nature, and so because of that, she brought that out in Marianne's character, and it shows, and it's fantastic. I mean, the scene where they actually have sex and she pulls her hair out of her bun and all that, and she just lets it dangle, and she just talks to Johann while I guess she's on top of him, is pretty kind of nice, but yeah, no, I mean, obviously the idea of it being a TV series makes it a lot less taxing on me. I could stop anytime I want to. I actually planned on splitting this up between the episodes, but however, when I saw the theatrical version and realized that it was they just cut certain scenes out, I just thought, okay, I'll just watch the scenes, just take a peek and see what was cut out, And I got that, so that's why I didn't watch the theatrical version all the way through. And I don't think it's necessary. It's fantastic to have that, to see it for yourself, to see the shorter version of the movie, to have this little piece of work, and just to see it a little shorter and to see what American audiences saw before the original version of the show. But yeah, no, I mean, if you watch the television series, you got it, I mean, that's the original, so that's all you got to watch is that, And yeah, so fantastic. It's not a bad one. I definitely say that this is, I mean, I don't know. This is probably one of Bergman's top 3. Yeah, I mean, let's look at the list. Let's remind ourselves of the top 3. Let's see. How many we've seen so far? We've seen way too many. I mean, Seventh Seal, Autumn Sonata, Magic Flute, Cries and so which one is this? This is Seventh Seal, Autumn Sonata, Magic Flute, Cries and Whispers, Wild Strawberries, Through a Glass Darkly, Winterlight, Silence, and then Scenes from Marriage, which is, I guess, number 9, the 9th one we've seen? I've lost count already. Oh, anyway. But yeah, so we haven't even seen 10 films, I think, or maybe this might be his 10, or if you call it a film, But it is a complete project, so it's a complete Bergman, if you will. So yeah, so basically, it's not a bad one. I would say that this is in the top 3. Although I don't know, top 5 definitely. Wild Strawberries. I mean, I think this might actually have been a little bit better than Magic Flute, because at least they didn't have those random shots of his daughter staring, give you the cold shoulder. Although I love Mozart, that's the problem. And Winter Light was great, but it had that long ass scene where the woman's just staring at the camera, and I couldn't get through that. And Wild Strawberries, honestly, I liked it, but it's been so long. That is one I'm gonna have to rewatch and re-review. I can't believe I'm gonna rewatch a Bergman movie, but I did like it. I did like it, but I just can't remember why I liked it. I mean, with a film as long as, and I think some of that is because Wild Strawberries was a short film. It's about 90 minutes, average length. I mean, compared to other Bergman films. But this one, being almost 5 hours long, I ain't gonna forget it anytime soon. So, yeah, that's about it. That's all I can say about this. So, I dug it. Not bad. I went into this thinking, shit, 5 hour Bergman. And I'm going to go into this again when I get to fucking Fanny and Alexander in a few weeks. When is it? 261. So we won't get to that. We won't get to that once of the new year. So we've got 2 months, probably, before we get to Fanny and Alexander. Oh, shit. And oh god, and here's the thing though. I'm looking at Fanny Alexander. Each one, the television version is its own separate one, as well as the theatrical version. So I'm gonna watch both versions of it, which is gonna be like. And then the making of Fanny and Alexander is its own spine number 2. So, yeah, well, it's whatever. It'll just give me a better chance to talk about what was cut out of the the television series. And yeah, before we get to the supplements, let's talk about the theatrical version. The theatrical version, runs for 169 minutes, which is, how long is that? It's almost it's 2 hours and 49 minutes, almost 3 hours. And there's a couple of scenes, and there are some significant edits, obviously. One of the big scenes is at the beginning. They cut out some of it is just minor dialogue. Like the scene where the news reporter and Marianne talk, totally cut. The scene where Marianne and Katerina talk in private, cut. And then but one of the bigger scenes is the abortion. The whole abortion dialogue where she says she's pregnant and she has the abortion is totally cut. A lot of the dialogue about their children are cut, because I guess Ingmar Bergman, that was a conscious edit on his part, because Bergman really wanted the focus to be about the couple, and he talked about children before. The silence, and I guess something like even the magic flute, I guess, with his daughter, And so yeah, he wanted the children to not be such a distraction, because they can be a distraction, I guess. And what else did they cut? This whole scene where Marianne tries to convince Johann to go on a trip is cut. There's little bits of dialogue. And during the last scene, the whole bit with the mother is cut. The whole scene with where Johann and his coworker Eva is cut. So yeah, there's a lot of scenes that aren't significant edits. I think the whole introduction scene to part 5, scene 5, is totally cut, where they come in and they're all really cordial, and Marianne seems to be in a good mood about it all. That's totally cut. And yeah, so basically that's all I could think about. So yeah, I'd recommend the television version, because you get a little more, and you don't have to watch it all. You don't feel the obligation to watch it all in one sitting, as you do with the US theatrical version. You can watch each episode at your own leisure. Whereas if you watch the theatrical version, you got to watch it all the way through. That's just the way it goes, So, yeah, not bad. Would I buy it? B+. B+. It's too fucking long, and that's why I can't give it an A, but Okay, Bergman, you got me. B+. I mean, just keep making Liv Ullmann look really good, and we'll talk. We'll keep giving you decent ratings. B+. And it's like every time I watch a Bergman movie, my opinion kind of changes about him. It's like it's not that he's not a bad person. He's not a bad director or person or anything. He just makes really weird fucking movies that I don't get. I just don't get a lot of his movies, his style or all that. And that's just a personal thing on me. Because obviously Americans loved it. I mean, they wouldn't put his movies in theaters, if they didn't love, if Americans didn't love, Swedish art, Swedish film and all that, So there had to be something to his movies that American audiences loved. I just personally am not the average American. So there you are. So anyway, Scenes from Marriage, B+. Supplements. Disc 1 has a 15-minute interview from 86 with Bergman, just basically talking about, Scenes from Marriage. Disc 2 has a newer interview with Liv Ullmann and Erland Josephson, where they talk about working with each other and working with Bergman and Scenes from Marriage, And then the third one has a interview with Peter Cowie, the Bergman scholar and all-around Criterion British guy, where he just talks about the scenes, and he basically gives you a rundown of all the stuff that's cut, and why the two versions were produced. So yeah, nice little package, and one that I kind of want to see on Blu-ray. I want to see how they do it. I mean, I don't know if you could fit. I'm wondering. I don't know if you can fit all this on Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure you can, but yeah. I mean, part of me wants to grab it for the sale because I kind of want to see it again because it's intriguing. And I can't. I'm seriously in disbelief that I'm talking about buying I'm talking about rewatching a Bergman film. I'm talking about buying a Bergman film. Oh dear. What's wrong? What's going on? Oh dear. I think the world is coming to an end. Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. But anyway. But yeah, so Criterion, get onto Blu-ray because I want to see what you do. It'll probably be 2 Blu-rays, but I don't know, we'll see. Scenes from Marriage, B+. You have my attention, Bergman. Anyway, so that's it for me. Thank God. I still got a little bit of daylight too. How about that? I can actually go out and do something right now. But for tomorrow, that's it for today. For tomorrow, we got Robert Altman's 3 Women, which only shows 2 on the cover, so I don't know what that's about. Let's see. And then Saturday, we have Dr. Mabuse, Testament of Dr. Mabuse. Then next week, we have Floating Weeds, and then Stray Dog, which I believe will be our Thanksgiving review, because I'm actually working next Wednesday. So, provided I have time, which I don't know, I'm gonna have dinner with my family, obviously, because I'm a slightly normal American, where I usually have dinner with someone on Thanksgiving. But at the same time, food takes a long time to cook, so if I got some time in the morning, we'll do some Kurosawa, because what could go better with your turkey dinner than a little Japanese Kurosawa, especially a more modern Kurosawa. So yeah, so that'll be probably on next Thursday. Then Friday, Tin Drum finally came, and this is the Blu-ray edition too, so this will be fun. This will be my second foray into Criterion Blu-ray. Well, third if you count. Well, first, I guess the first one would be Picnic at Hanging Rock, which I can't believe I still have to talk about that one. And then of course I have a couple other Blu-rays, which I bought I took a look at the Otis Shake at Monterey, Shake Otis at Monterey, which God, it's still fantastic. And yeah, so we'll take a look at Tin Drum on next Friday. And then Saturday, we got The Leopard, and that'll be it for that week. And then yeah, we've got a couple others. We got some more coming. We got what's next? And the week after that, we got Mama Rosa, Smiles of a Summer Night, more Bergman. Woman is a Woman, Godard, and then The Lower Depths, John Renoir and Akira Kurosawa. So, yeah. So, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Don't feel the need to watch Scenes from Marriage all the way through like I did if you don't want to. But let's know. If you have kids, don't get divorced. You know. Let's see. What else? Oh gosh. Don't sleep with 23-year-old women named Paula, because they'll just fuck up your marriage. And don't leave your wife if your wife is Liv Ullmann and she's wearing really tight jeans and a really cool 70s-ish disco shirt, you know. Yeah, that was kind of cool. I mean, that scene where she's like pleading with him because her outfit is like she's sitting on the table and she's begging him, she's grabbing onto him, and like I was waiting for her to like jump on him or wrap her legs around him and like don't let go of me, you know. So it's like because I was like waiting for that, and I'm like, dang, because that would have been kind of cool. And yeah, just don't be an asshole if your wife has an abortion. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, don't be. That's one of the best ones. And yeah, that's all. I've exhausted. I'm exhausted talking about this movie. So no, it's not a movie. It's a television series. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for Three Women. And until then, good.